Hello guys, in today's video we're going to talk about some absolutely mandatory things that you must know if you're using the auction house in World of Warcraft. You might already know some of these things, but it's really important to know them all, so make sure you watch the whole video. So I've seen quite some of you that actually don't know these things, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the region auction house. So a while back, Blizzard actually implemented the auction house so it is now region-wide. This means that most of the items you're selling is not just sold to players on your own server. It's sold to every server in your region. So if you're like me and playing on a European server, your items will be sold to everyone that is playing on a European server. But there are some things that is not region-wide, and I will let you know right now how you can spot the difference. So here in my bag, I have a stack of 300 Spool of Dusk thread and a bag that is the Dawnweave Reagent bag. So basically, the Spool of Dusk thread is a region-wide item that will sell on the region-wide auction house, and the Dawnweave Reagent bag is a server-specific item that only sells on your server. And the basic rule of this is every item that is stackable in your bag, like the Spool of Dusk thread here, has 300 dusk thread in one place in the bag. That one is region wide. And the bag always takes up one bag slot each, right? So those are not stackable. The bags, they take up 2 spots. So they are on the individual server auction house. So basically, that's a really easy way to see it. So this enchants, for example, they can stack. As you can see, I have 21 of them. They are on the region-wide auction house, so they will sell to everyone on the EU. And the bags will not stack, same as the chef's hat here. They are sold on the individual auction house. So that is one easy way to spot the difference. And I've seen a lot of you guys don't understand because you talk about your servers all the time. Maybe I'm on a bad server, etc., which really doesn't matter in this case unless you're selling a lot of not stackable items that is server specific. So that is why also the competition has gone up a lot. If you've been using auction house back in the days when everything was server specific, the competition was way less. Now it is extremely high and you will get undercut sometimes like the same second that you post your items. That is why you can have thousands of people undercutting, like posting the same item. And as you can understand, then it would be very hard to sell your items. So that's basically it about the regional auction house. Let's talk about the auction house fee. Whenever you post an auction on the auction house, it's going to have a deposit cost. If I want to post the 300 of this Spool of Dusk thread here, it's going to immediately cost me 22 gold and 50 silver. If I want to post 100 of them, it's going to cost me 7 gold and 50 silver, etc. So you are paying to post your auctions on the auction house. The deposit cost will increase depending on your posting duration. So if you want it to be on the auction house for 12 hours and then come back to you in the mail as an expire if you haven't sold it, it's going to cost me, in this case, 7 gold and 50 silver. If I bump that up to 24 hours, it will cost me 15 gold instead. So it's much more expensive. It's double the price, and same with 48 hours. So as you guys can see, this is really important. Only post your items for 12 hours. If you know that it is a competitive market and you're going to get undercut, you have to post for the lowest amount. Otherwise, you're going to pay too much in auction house deposit fees, and that is going to take away all of your profit from your items that you are selling. Also, there is another fee. When you sell your items, let's say I sell the 100 spools here, I am not going to retrieve 1825 gold in the mailbox. I am going to retrieve less because I am actually going to retrieve 5% less than what I have actually sold the item for. So in this case, it's a little bit hard to do the head math, but let's say you were actually selling those for 10 gold a pop. I would be getting 950 gold in my bag if I sold those 100 for 10 gold each, because the auction house would take 5% off me. So that is also very important when you're calculating profits, is that auction house will take 5% off whatever you sell. So that combined with the deposit fees can a lot of the times actually mess up your profits if you do not take those into consideration when you're actually crafting or selling items on the auction house. So it's really important to know. let's talk about the last but absolutely not least thing, which I see a lot of people actually doing wrong, and it's costing them a lot of gold. It can also cause some chaos in the market sometimes, and a lot of auction house players is actually getting quite pissed on this. Let's again use the spool of dusk thread as an example. As you guys can see, there is 33,791 spool of dusk thread posted here for 18 gold, 25 silver, right? If I were to post my spool of dusk thread here for the same price, 18 gold, 25 silver, I would be the first person to sell my dusk threads. Even though it is almost 34,000 spools posted at the same price, I will sell my items first if I am the last person to actually post the item at the same price. So the general rule is, if you're last in on the auction house, you are going to be the first one out. So if you post something at the same price as someone else, if you are posting after them, you are going to get your items sold before them. This is really important to know, because a lot of people is actually getting themselves and other people less profit by, for example, undercutting this with 1 silver. If everybody would have done this every time they posted, this market would crash in just a couple of minutes because it's so competitive, and a lot of people would actually just rush the price down until it's not profitable anymore, and then you will have to wait for the market to recover, and this is most of the time such a waste. So the general rule is actually to never ever undercut with any amount of gold or silver. Just post your auction at the same price as the cheapest one, and you're going to sell your items first if you're last in. And why you maybe sometimes think it's not working, it's going to be because there is a lot of competition and a lot of people is posting after you, so they are just reposting every time that you post. But generally, it's not going to help if you push the price down with a silver to try to get out. Just because you visually can see, like if I post one here for 1 silver, I visually can see that I am the cheapest one now because I am on the top here, right? It would be the same for me to post that one on that price as posting on the already cheapest price. There is no difference. You are the one losing on it, and you are retrieving less gold by doing this. So that's actually a really common mistake that a lot of people are doing, and it causes sometimes some mayhem in the community, like when somebody ruins prices. Sometimes they even posting it for way low, like posting for 15 gold here. But that's another discussion. But make sure you don't push the price down thinking that you will actually have to be the cheapest one to get your items sold. That was the case in the old auction house, but this is now the new Blizzard auction house that has been out for a couple of expansions now, and you just do not have to undercut with any amount of gold or silver. As you guys can see, my spool is sold right now. That is awesome. But yeah, that is the general rule. Actually, if you also want to be able to compete in the auction house PvP, you will have to use add-ons. Most likely, it's going to be very hard without it. So if it's your first time, or basically you're brand new to the auction house, I would probably recommend starting out with the add-on Auctionator. Of course, it's linked in the description. Basically what you do, you get another UI, and you can actually see here, if I were to post, you can actually see that you're the cheapest, even though it's the same price. As you guys can see here, you see that you are the top one. So that's an add-on you can use. Look here, I can see that I am not the cheapest one now on the Duskwear bags. Then I can post new ones and I will appear on the top again, but of course for the same price. Also, if you're more intermediate and you really want to compete with undercutting wars, you gotta use TSM. It's almost a must. It's an auction house add-on. You get like a brand new UI. It's a little bit more complicated, but it can be really easy. I have already posted a video about it, so make sure you go and check that out if you want to compete with TSM. But Auctionator is just fine if you're new to the game and new to the auction house. I hope at least some of those tips could help you out. A lot of people is struggling with this, and I hope that I just saved you a lot of gold by sharing those tips. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, that would help me a lot with the algorithm. Also comment something nice, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.